Hello there. I wanted to start going through some chapters of books that I find interesting. I wanted to share with people on YouTube and other platforms and see if you benefit too. This one today, I wanted to go through one of the chapters of this book, The Art of Thinking Clearly by Rolf Dobelli. This is chapter 50. It's called Sweet Little Lies, and he's talking about cognitive dissonance. A fox crept up to a vine. He gazed longingly at the fat, purple, overripe grapes. He placed his front paws against the trunk of the vine, stretched his neck, and tried to get at the fruit, but it was too high. Irritated, he tried his luck again. He launched himself upward, but his jaw snapped only at fresh air. The third time he leapt with all his might, so powerfully that he landed back down on the ground with a thud. Still not a single leaf had stirred. The fox turned up his nose. They aren't even ripe yet. Why would I want sour grapes? Holding his head high, he strode back into the forest. The Greek poet Aesop created this fable to illustrate one of the most common errors in reasoning. An inconsistency arose when the fox set out to do something and failed to accomplish it. He can resolve this conflict in one of three ways. A, by somehow getting at the grapes. B, by admitting that his skills are insufficient. Or C, by retrospectively reinterpreting what happened. The last option is an example of cognitive dissonance, or rather, its resolution. Rolf goes on to give some more examples in this chapter. I particularly like this one. Suppose you apply for a job and you discover you've lost out to another candidate. Instead of admitting the other person was better suited, you convince yourself that you didn't want the job in the first place. You simply wanted to test your market value and see if you could get invited for interview. It's kind of like we lie to ourselves because that lie helps us to avoid the actual reality of the situation. I think it was Jordan Peterson that said that your soul will reject the tyranny of your mind. Sorry if I got that the wrong way around, but I really liked that when I heard it. It's kind of like, deep inside your heart, when you're lying to yourself, and you try and bury it and hide it. And it's not good for us. If, for example, in this case, we admitted to the fact that we weren't the best candidate, we need to go and figure out why I wasn't the best candidate. That will then lead us down the road of going back and asking the interviewer what was the problem. Why, I know I haven't got the job, but I'd really like to understand why that was the case to improve myself for for future interviews and so on and so forth. So I think it's really fascinating to understand how our minds work. When you understand your particular response, psychological response to something, and you can rationalize it, this will help us to kind of overcome that possibly learned response as we grew up to kind of hiding things from ourselves and then actually causing some kind of internal torment. Anyway, this is just my thoughts on the matter. I hope that was useful.